Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Jenna. If it's your first time here, thank you for showing up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you get more content and see when it's just released. I appreciate it. So first, let's just be grateful for this beautiful day, for the opportunity again to be better than we were yesterday, because it is a beautiful, beautiful opportunity and thing that we get to do every single day we wake up. So today we're going to talk about holding space. Holding space is a conscious practice, and really every single relationship that you have, whether it's a parent-child, a coworker, a friendship, especially romantic relationships, is going to need you to hold space at some point or another. I guarantee it. And holding space is a conscious practice. It is not something that most of us will do instinctually, because as humans, we're wired to be very in our own reality. You know, I said we create our own reality, but unless we are aware that someone else's reality right next to us is not the same thing, we usually go into conflict or arguments expecting them to have had the same exact experiences and feelings that we do. So sometimes when our truth does not match up to their truth, that's a very hard thing to understand if you are not conscious of it and aware. Really bringing that consciousness into practice of accepting that the other person's truth is sometimes not your own. And then also what holding space is it is just the act of listening without judgment. So you are there for that person. You are creating a safe space and a safe container in your little world for them to just be themselves. Holding space is a conscious practice, like I said. It is a practice that really does require some hard things from you, especially in romantic relationships. If you're in a relationship with someone or a friendship with someone, you're should be coming at this from an equal place. And I encourage both partners, really both partners need to practice holding space. But if you are in a relationship with someone that doesn't know what this is, send them this video and teach them the practice of holding space, because I can guarantee this is how you both are going to win an argument. This is how you both are going to come to a satisfying conclusion of any conflict that you had and be able to move forward. That's important. You don't want to get stuck. If you are continually arguing over the same things over and over and there is no resolution, if you feel like you have to continually go back, or if you feel like your actions are always being held against you, there is no moving forward from an argument because everything that you've done and then everything that you've done past is now brought up to light, that is not a good conscious relationship. That is not people that are holding space for another. So let's talk about how to change that. So sometimes, and this is a great way to begin if you and your partner are both new to this, sometimes old habits will get in the way and we just start arguing about, well, you hurt me and this happened and I'm very angry at you. And what is that going to do to the other person if they are not in a place of holding space? That's going to cause them to get defensive, right? That's not going to cause them to want to listen to you and actually hear you without judgment. That is going to put them straight in the defensive. So the best way to begin the practice of holding space within conflict is just to say, hey, I need you to hold space for me while I tell you this. Now, if you were the person being asked to hold space for someone while they talk about their hurts or pain, here is the practice of doing it, and here is how to do it. So step one is just to go in there with a loving heart. Okay, you are creating a safe space for that person. You are practicing loving kindness. You are giving unconditional love to that person and letting them know that, hey, whatever it is you're going through, whatever emotions we are going to practice today, I unconditionally love you and I will not judge you. for that. Now that's very hard to do, but that is something that you consciously have to go in. And I know if somebody's angry at you, or even if you are angry at someone, that battle, those personal feelings need to be put aside for the moment. Now, you are not discarding your personal feelings, but you are practicing the art of loving kindness and listening. Okay, so the goal here is to listen, to understand, not to get defensive and respond. Step one. So step two, again, listening. You are going in there with a loving heart of unconditional love, and you are listening. So you are still, of course, in your own reality. You have your own thoughts. You have your own experiences. Those are not to be discarded, but understand again that everyone is in their own reality. The person right next to me, even though we are maybe in the same place, watching the same thing, having the same physical experience, our realities are completely different because all of their experiences, their sum of their experiences are completely different from mine. So they are interpreting these emotions and this experience completely different, which is why, again, understanding that the person next to you, the person with you, the person that you are in love with, your mother, parent, sibling, when they are coming to you with what feels like a different version, understand it's because that is in their reality. That does not negate your reality. But listen to understand what theirs is. 3 is you have respect for the person that you are going in there with. If you feel angry at them, put that aside for the moment. Consciously put that aside. You have to go into every argument with respect for the person that you are in this space with. You have to love them and appreciate them for exactly who they are in that moment. So we're working with compassion, with love, and a positive light. You are not going into this looking at someone that maybe in your reality they've done something to hurt you badly. You are giving them a positive light. You are understanding that they are human, that we all do things at one point in our lives that hurt other people, either intentionally or unintentionally. We are still human and we are still good. So go into that with that kind of understanding as well. 4, sitting with what is. Sitting with what is this reality, not with what you wish it to be. And that really is accepting what they are saying, listening to what they are saying without trying to change it, without trying to argue back. Well, that's not how I felt. Well, that's not what I see. That's not the time for this. There will be a time when the person is holding space for you back for you to then express your feelings. But while they are doing that, it is sitting with their reality. You're not negating your own reality. You're not negating your own experiences, but you are in this moment just listening to understand what their reality is. And your chance to respond will come if you are both practicing this consciousness of holding space. Again, allow. So 5 is allow. Allow the person to feel whatever it is that they are feeling in that moment, because all we really want as people, all we really want in any relationship, no matter what it is, a friendship, a romantic one, is to be seen and heard and validated. So allowing that person to express how they feel without telling them how they feel is wrong, or that they shouldn't feel that way, or that you're angry at them for feeling that way, that's not what holding space is. Holding space is allowing their emotions to come through and validating their experience. No, it's not the same as yours, but that doesn't make it any less real for them. So validate their emotions because their emotions are real. So you're just allowing that to happen. 6, remember to breathe. This is a very hard practice when you are first doing it, to not get wrapped up in it, to not get pulled into the other person's emotions. So you are going to have to do some calming exercises when you are in this. And really that's breathing. Like I said before in my video, how to have a great day, breath is life. Breath controls your physiology. If you are breathing fast, your system is fast. You are anxious, you are worked up, you are ready to run a marathon. If you are breathing slow, you have then slowed down your system and are able to calm yourself. So try box breathing. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. Try that practice of breathing, that calming breath. Slow, steady breaths when you feel yourself getting pulled into the other person's emotions or reality, because really the goal of holding space is to separate yourself and create that safe container for them. 7 is to come into this grounded, come into this with a clear heart and clear intentions. And sometimes if somebody asks you, hey, I need you to hold space for me, you may have to tell them, I need a moment before I'm ready for that, because I am dealing with something myself and it's going to be very hard for me to hold space for you at this present moment. And then go out and meditate. Go out and do exercise, go out and do some more breath work, but do the things that give you calm and peace before you go into that space. So that is very important. Keep yourself grounded and know your own emotional state before even going into that. 8 is really be present with yourself. Understand your own emotions and in tune with your own emotions, because again, it is the grounding of yourself and separating your reality, your emotions from theirs, the ability to be an observer for them, the ability to hold that safe container for them in which to unleash their emotions. So be very present and cognizant of what you are feeling. And again, if you start to feel wrapped up in there, breathe, ground yourself, separate. And it is okay to tell them, you know what, I need a moment. I am getting upset. Please just give me a moment and I'll let you know when I'm ready for you to continue. That is absolutely okay to do that. Know yourself, validate yourself as well. Be in tune with who you are and your emotions. It's very important in this. 9 is don't take on their pain. Again, be very cognizant of who you are and who your emotions are and your own experiences. If someone is in tremendous pain, of course you are going to want to help them. But it's very hard for you to help them if you are taking on their pain as your own. Don't do that. Understand, again, that they are in their own reality. Their experiences have created this emotion and situation for them that you are giving them a space to be safe to express it, but that's not your emotion. So don't ever take on the emotions of someone else, because that is damaging to both you and them, because then that could get into a pattern of, well, now I'm hurt that you're hurt, or now I'm angry that you're angry. Don't do that. Separate yourself. It's hard, it's a conscious practice again, but be aware of when it's starting to happen and take a breather, take a moment. Okay, I'm getting upset right now, just 5-minute break. Let me breathe, let me calm myself, and we can return to this. That is absolutely okay to do. 10, and this is really a hard one, especially in arguments with romantic partners, especially if someone is coming to you that you have been hurt by, or that you are angry with, or they're angry at you. Again, that is a very hard thing to remove yourself from, but it is emotionally important to do that. And it's practicing non-judgment. So if somebody is coming at to you, especially angry at something that you've done, remember to ground yourself, remember to breathe, and remember to take a step back from the situation and hear them, validate them, understand their reality is different from yours. And just that's all you're validating. You're not validating that they are right. You are validating their experience and their emotions. And then you can come back with, your side as well. But really, what we want to hear, again, is we want to be heard. We want to be validated as humans. If we do not feel that in a relationship, that is not a good relationship. All we want to be is validated as humans, right? We just want to be seen and heard. And that is within any relationship. If you are in a healthy romantic relationship, if you love someone, you take that person as part of yourself, and therefore you have their best interest in heart already. So just be aware of that dynamic when you are going into this, is really we are just there to validate their experience. 11 is really a hard one as well, especially for men, because men are fixers. But a lot of times when your partner is bringing you a problem or an emotion that they are struggling with, we just want to be heard. So again, don't really try to fix the problem. Don't give suggestions, or if you would just do this, or I told you a while ago that you needed to do this to fix it. Don't do that, because what that does is it puts the person in a defensive posture, and it makes the space that you have created a judgmental one and not a safe place. And it will be very, very hard for them to then reopen themselves up to you. The whole purpose of this is to getting trust and to getting a dynamic of communication going. And when you go into this as trying to be the fixer, what that does is it can actually isolate the person more. It can bring them into their shell more, because a lot of times what you're saying, they know, but they're still in this emotional pain and they're sharing it with you. And a lot of times, most of the time, the only way out of that pain is through it. The only way out of that pain is to process it and deal with it. And that is an internal job that the other person has to do. So coming in and trying to fix a problem for them really actually does more damage. And what it can do is it can remove the safe space that they were in with processing, and they would then withdraw into themselves. So don't try to fix it, just listen. And a lot of times people will solve their own problems just talking through it. I know I do. I just need a sounding board to listen, because a lot of times if you are self-aware, if you are hearing yourself and somebody has created that space for you to just voice your opinions, the solution will come to you. The ability to hold space impacts your relationships directly. If you don't have the ability to hold space for someone, that relationship cannot grow and thrive. The foundation of that relationship, that open communication with holding space, it's going to be stuck and it's going to be stagnant. Without that safe place to communicate and open and grow, it is an unsafe environment. And unsafe environments encourage people to hide, to withdraw into themselves, and to not want to share. And that is detrimental to relationships. What you are doing is creating a relationship that cannot grow. And if you want to create a conscious, loving, spiritual, growth-filled connection and relationship, holding space for one another, that means equal. That means the art of reciprocation. If I am holding space for my partner to allow them to process, they then in turn, when they are ready and capable, will need to hold space for me as well. Because again, we are both coming from different realities, but what we both need is validation and understanding. So practice this consciously in your relationship in order for it to grow into the beautiful thing that it was created to be. If people are not holding space for you, you are not becoming, you are not growing and thriving. What you're doing is surviving, and surviving is not living. It is not living to your fullest potential. And when you are just in a survival mode in any kind of relationship, you are stuck. You are not being the person who you are meant to be. I encourage you to share this with anyone that you are in a relationship with. I encourage you to consciously practice holding space with someone. And if you have someone who is unwilling to practice this with you, ask yourself why. Ask yourself what part of the relationship needs to be worked on. And honestly, if someone is unwilling to hear you and to see you and to validate your emotions, you might have to reevaluate that relationship, because that is how you grow and that is how you become who you're meant to be. So while you are in the process of holding space, again, this does not mean negating your own experiences. You are still having your own judgments and experiences, but what you are doing is you are understanding what their experience is so that you can then relate it to your experience. And again, this is where the art of reciprocation comes from. Now it's your turn to hold space and talk with them about what your experience was and maybe what you understand better about theirs. So again, be aware of your own emotions, be aware of your own reactions to them, and be aware of the conscious practice of creating that container without judgment from a loving space to them and holding them in respect. It really is not reacting to the other person, but allowing them to be who they are. And again, it's being a good listener. It's giving space for someone to express themselves fully with trust, with openness, with love, and knowing that they will get no judgment, reprisal, or hatred in return. That right there creates such a strong foundation for any relationship. If someone you are with trusts you, they can then grow with you. And that is the most beautiful thing. And lastly, it's validation. You don't need to agree with someone. Again, separate realities. You don't need to agree with them to validate that what they are feeling is real for them. But you need to give that space, that seen and heard, in order for them to then give that space back to you. The art of reciprocation. It works. And then again, without trying to fix anything, without judgment, trust them. Trust them that they are emotionally aware enough to solve their problems on their own. We cannot solve other people's emotional states. The only way out of those emotional traumas, the only way past those wounds is through them, is to allow that person to do that shadow work, to allow that person to be in their pain and just create that safe space for them. Thank you guys. I appreciate this. If this practice helps you, go ahead and comment. If you want to try this practice with your partner, please feel free to do it and let me know how it goes, because this really is how you win every argument, is you hold space for the person that you are in conflict with. And then the art of reciprocation happens. They do the same for you. And maybe you're not going to be right, and maybe they're not going to be right, but you will have come to an understanding and a compromise, because what is done after the holding space, what is done in healthy relationships, is now you understand where the other person is coming from, and then you work together. You work together as a team to compromise, to solve your issues, to solve your problems, and to move forward in a positive direction. That's all that is for, is to be able to move forward in a loving and positive direction and letting go of all of the hurt and anger. Because really, once you are validated, once you feel that that person understands and hears you, that's going to go away naturally. Most of the times we hold resentment or anger when we are not feeling heard. So once that happens, you can then move on. Thank you guys for being here with me. I hope everyone found something beneficial. Again, go ahead and give this a like and a subscribe if you felt it helped you, and share it.